Have you ever heard the phrase, "truth is stranger than fiction"? Well, in our little town, it's our daily mantra. Just last week, Mrs. Higgins' prize-winning Roses started singing opera. Yes, you read that right. Singing. Opera. It turns out her grandson had rigged up tiny speakers as a prank. But for a solid hour, the whole neighborhood thought they were witnessing a horticultural miracle. Then there was the great donut caper of Tuesday morning. Someone, or something, made off with every single jelly donut from Joe's bakery. The culprit, a family of raccoons with a sweet tooth. They'd managed to jimmy open the back door and stage a midnight raid. Joe says he's considering hiring them as taste testers. Over at the local library, things took a turn for the weird when all the books in the mystery section rearranged themselves overnight. Conspiracy theories ran wild until young Tommy confessed. He'd been practicing to be a speed shelver for the summer reading program. Talk about dedication. And let's not forget about the traffic jam caused by a runaway bouncy castle. It escaped from a birthday party and went on a joyride down Main Street. Half the town ended up chasing it, turning into an impromptu parade. The mayor's now considering making it an annual event. Who says local politics is boring? Every town has its characters, but ours seem to have stepped right out of a sitcom. Take Old Man Jenkins, for instance. He's convinced his lawn gnomes come to life at night. So he's set up a nightly stakeout, complete with night vision goggles and a thermos of coffee. The gnomes haven't budged, but Jenkins swears they're just waiting for him to let his guard down. Then there's Madame Zola, our local fortune teller. She predicts the weather using nothing but a magic 8-ball and her cat's mood. Surprisingly, she's more accurate than the Weather Channel. The meteorologists are not amused, but everyone else finds it hilarious. Even the mayor consults her before planning outdoor events. We can't forget about Bicycle Bob. He hasn't owned a car in 40 years and claims he can outrace any vehicle in town. Last month he challenged the fire truck to a race. To everyone's shock, he won. Turns out the fire truck got stuck behind a parade of ducks crossing the road. Bob's been insufferable ever since. And who could overlook Miss Pickles, the retired librarian turned competitive pickle maker? She enters her creations in every contest within a 100-mile radius. Her latest concoction? Coffee-flavored pickles. The judges were skeptical, but they've become a local delicacy. She's now working on a pickle-flavored coffee. The town is divided on whether this is genius or madness. Now let's shine a spotlight on the everyday heroes walking among us. Take Sally from the corner store. Last week, she single-handedly foiled a robbery armed with nothing but a mop and her wits. The would-be thief was so confused by her impromptu cleaning frenzy that he just stood there until the police arrived. Sally says she was just tidying up the situation. Then there's Mr. Peterson, the high school science teacher. He turned a power outage into an impromptu astronomy lesson for the whole town. Armed with his telescope and boundless enthusiasm, he had half the town stargazing in the park. Even the teenagers admitted it was kind of cool. High praise indeed from that tough crowd. Let's not forget about 9-year-old Timmy and his lemonade stand. When he heard the animal shelter needed funds, he set up shop. But Timmy didn't stop at lemonade. He offered joke upgrades for an extra quarter. His bad puns and dad jokes were so legendary, people were lining up around the block. He raised over $500 in one weekend. The shelter named a puppy Giggles in his honor. And we can't forget Mrs. Gonzalez, the retired nurse with a green thumb. She's turned the abandoned lot behind her house into a community garden. Now, instead of an eyesore, we have a thriving space where neighbors connect and grow food together. She says she's just planting seeds of community, but we all know she's growing so much more than vegetables. Section 4. Weather Wonders, Mother Nature's Mood Swings. Now, on to everyone's favorite topic, the weather. Or as we like to call it, Mother Nature's mood swings. This week we've had sun, rain, hail, and a mysterious fog that smelled like cotton candy. The local weatherman has thrown his hands up in despair and is now using a dartboard to make predictions. Tuesday brought us the Great Umbrella Uprising of 2024. A sudden gust of wind caught everyone off guard, turning Main Street into a Mary Poppins reenactment. Mrs. Johnson's floral print umbrella was last seen heading towards the next county. If you spot it, please return it. She's offering a reward of her famous apple pie. Wednesday's weather was brought to you by the letter W for what in the world? We had sunshine and rain at the same time. The resulting double rainbow was so vibrant, traffic came to a standstill as everyone scrambled for their phones. The photo has gone viral, with people dubbing our town Rainbow Central. And let's not forget about Friday's freak snowstorm. In July, the local kids were ecstatic, building snowmen wearing sunglasses and Bermuda shorts. The adults were less amused, especially when the snowplows got stuck because they'd been converted into parade floats for the summer festival. Next year, we're keeping the plows ready year-round, just in case. Section 5. Stay in the loop. Why local news matters. Now you might be wondering, why should I care about all this local hullabaloo? Well, let me tell you, local news is the heartbeat of our community. It's the story of us, our triumphs, our quirks, and yes, even our singing rose bushes. Without it, how would you know about the raccoon donut heist or Bicycle Bob's epic victory? Local news connects us. It's the shared experience that turns strangers into neighbors. When we all laugh about the bouncy castle parade or cheer for Timmy's lemonade stand success, we're building a community. We're creating inside jokes and shared memories that bind us together. It's like a town-wide inside joke that everyone's in on. But it's not just about the laughs. Local news keeps us informed about issues that directly affect our daily lives. Sure, global news is important, but does it tell you about the pothole on Elm Street that's big enough to swallow a compact car? Or about the school board meeting where they're deciding on next year's curriculum? Probably not. And let's face it, in a world that can sometimes feel overwhelming, local news reminds us that good things are happening right here, right now. It's a reminder that heroes don't always wear capes. Sometimes they wield mops or plant community gardens. It's a celebration of the extraordinary ordinary that makes our town special. Section 6. Your town, your stories, get involved. So how can you be part of this wacky, wonderful world of local news? Well, for starters, keep your eyes peeled. You never know when you might witness the next great donut caper or impromptu parade. If you see something interesting, funny, or heartwarming, share it. Your story could be the next local legend. Don't be shy about getting involved in community events. Join Mrs. Gonzalez in the community garden or volunteer at the animal shelter Timmy supported. Who knows, you might end up being our next hometown hero. And if you have a quirky talent or hobby, embrace it. You could be the next Madame Zola or Miss Pickles. Stay curious about your neighbors and local businesses. Strike up conversations, ask questions. Everyone has a story, and you might uncover the next great local tale. Plus, it's a great way to make friends and feel more connected to your community. Who knows, you might even solve the mystery of Old Man Jenkins's lawn gnomes. Finally, support your local news sources. Subscribe to the local paper, follow community social media pages, or attend town meetings. The more engaged we all are, the richer our local stories become. And remember, in a world of big headlines and global news, sometimes the best stories are happening right in your own backyard. So keep your eyes open, your ears to the ground, and your sense of humor ready. You're not just reading the news, you're living it.